Welcome, and thank you for tuning in to the Human Training Your Dog is Begging For podcast. And if you are needing help understanding your dog and their behaviors, you've come to the right place. I'm Charles, countryman, and this is my wife, Laura.
Good morning.
We are the co-founders of Canine Culture Dog Training in Carrollton, Texas, basically a suburb of the Dallas metro area, if you're unfamiliar with Carrollton. And our goal is always to help our listeners, you, understand your dog better, learn more about creating behaviors you'd like to see more, and hopefully learn how to replace some of those behaviors you'd like to see less of, and help you and your dog improve your relationship together. So today, Laura, what are we talking about today?
We're talking about dominance theory, alpha mailing, and also going the other direction, not purely positive, but the two different spectrums of the dog training world and what dominance training looks like, or dominance theory, or
right. So I guess a great for someone listening that's not familiar with dominance dog training.
There's a misnomer out there that wolf packs, real wolf packs, they have the dominant female and the dominant male, and everybody else
the
is
alpha.
The alpha.
Right.
And they dominate everyone, and everyone does what they say. In real life, wolf packs that are natural in the wild, not
natural wolf packs, not wolf packs put together by the United States government as transplants to a new environment.
Right. They are family centered. There's a mom and dad, babies, and they grow up and become bigger dogs. So that is a family pack. And
they really are a family
pack. And there's not it's as dominance as a mom and a dad trying to train their children. That's right. How dogs do. Obviously, they use their teeth to do different things. And if you see, even dogs, if you see a mama dog with her puppies up, that's why you need to keep the puppies with them till at least 8 weeks, is she will correct her puppies correctly to teach them how to bite properly, how to do things that they should be doing.
And she uses her paw and her mouth to do that.
But she does not hurt them.
Right.
So... But a lot of people take that to be meaning we need to dominate the dog. We need to have power over the dog. We need to need
to hold the dog down like the alpha in the pack would have.
Yes.
Is a good example. And we just posted a YouTube video yesterday actually, like 40 seconds long, on that theory of some dog trainers, if they deal with a reactive dog or just any dog, and a lot of times you'll see it with a dog with a strong will, but usually you'll see it with a reactive dog, a dog that's aggressive towards other dogs or people, but that would not go well for what they're doing. They'll do what's called a alpha roll, meaning they force the dog onto its side in a position of submission and hold the dog down on its side and one hand or knee on the dog's head and force the dog to lay there until it submits.
Yeah.
So that kind of training is definitely dominance. They're trying to establish dominance over the dog. Basically, they're asking the dog to be submissive.
24/7.
And who the hell wants a submissive dog?
No, not me.
I mean, really. Do I want to wreck my dog's personality and make my dog a submissive dog for the sake of getting him to not lunge and bark at other dogs?
Yeah.
I mean, I get that they're trying to get the dog to stop doing that, but they never taught the dog to stop doing that. The dog's just not doing it in your presence because they know you will not tolerate it and what you're going to do to them. It doesn't mean the dog's not aggressive anymore, right?
No. And they're not digging into why the dog's doing it.
Right.
Because most of it's fear-based, not all of it, but you need to teach a dog a better behavior and also let them figure out for themselves that this is not a bad situation.
Right. Yeah, that method of alpha rolling a dog to get submission has not stopped the dog from being a reactive dog because
it'd work.
Otherwise, that's all dog trainers would do. In fact, there would be no need for dog trainers. There would just be one video online to show you how to alpha roll your dog, and lo and behold, bam, all dogs are no longer aggressive.
Yes.
Because they've all been alpha rolled, and that worked, and it made them no longer aggressive. That's crazy. That's like crazy. Me being afraid of heights, and you make me climb a 20-foot ladder
all the time.
And I did it once. Well, we cured you. You're not afraid of heights. No, frick, I'm afraid every time I go up that damn thing.
That is true.
You did not fix me. Just because I did it doesn't mean I'm not afraid of heights. And I am, by the way, petrified of heights. Yeah, to work with aggression, particularly, you have to desensitize the dog.
Yeah.
Why I don't like dominance, and I kind of mentioned this in that very short YouTube video, 41 seconds. And it's gotten, some traction and some comments because one person said, I'd like you to try it because I showed the alpha roll with our dog,
Georgie.
George just went with it. He's like, yeah, whatever. You're being weird. But, the reason he allowed me to do it is he trusts me.
Yeah.
He didn't resist. He's just like, yeah, I'll let you do whatever I want because I've never violated his trust.
Yeah.
I think that's why I have such contention with alpha rolling a dog. You are basically violating any trust you have established with the dog because now you're doing something unfair, unreasonable, unknown to the dog, and they do not know why they deserved it, earned it, or why you're doing it to them. So they start to question, can I trust you? Once your dog doesn't know if they can trust you, you will a lot of times have a more reactive dog because they don't know if you are capable or dependable to handle a situation that might startle or scare them. What I want is my dog to trust me. So when they're in an environment, if it's a dog reactive dog, instead of lunging and barking, they look to me, see what my reaction is. If I'm calm, my dog should be calm. Now, obviously, just because I'm calm, my dog's not going to be calm. We have to teach the dog how to be calm. I mean, there's way more context that goes into this than just being calm fixes dogs too.
No.
You have to desensitize the dog.
Which takes a while.
It just takes time. Alpha rolling is trying to take a shortcut.
Yeah.
It's one of the reasons we don't like to use e-collars in training, particularly. Not that we're morally opposed to an e-collar as long as it's used appropriately. The problem is a lot of trainers don't use them appropriately. They're using them for a shortcut. There's no shortcut. You can't learn the ABCs and then start spelling three-letter words in grade school. And now tomorrow when you come back to school, your teacher says, all right, everyone ready to conjugate a verb?
Yeah.
You can't do that.
Yeah.
I mean, the basis is not there. So the same thing exists with dog training. There's no shortcut. If you skip something and move the dog faster than they cognitively understand what they should have learned from that step, they never learned from that step. So all you're really doing is managing their reactivity for the rest of their life.
Yeah.
You're either managing actively with the press of an e-collar or a jerk on the collar, or you constantly have to be on the lookout.
Yes.
I want my dog to manage themselves.
Yes.
So I don't have to be exhausted by always being on the lookout whenever I see a dog. Right.
And that is very true. And that's the best way to teach a dog is have them learn. You teach them and they decide they want to do it.
Because it is called teaching.
Yes, we are teaching the dog. We are not forcing the dog.
Yeah, we have to teach the dog. That means the dog has to learn it, not be forced to do it.
Yes.
Otherwise, again, something got missed in the process. Yeah. And you're going to have instability later when you need it the most.
That is very true.
That's a big reason why I don't like the alpha roll is I've lost trust. To me, it's like a bully. I'm bullying someone, and nobody respects bullies. Nobody that's had a caustic or poor leader in their life respected that leader.
Yep. Nope.
So if my owner and I was a dog, did weird thing like that and forced me down, held me, and maybe I'm having a panic attack and they just forced me to, stay there until I quit having it. You didn't increase my trust in your leadership. No. You made me question it because I don't know why you just did this to me. And clearly I can't explain it to the dog.
No. Everything just takes time. I think people just want to go too fast and they didn't. And then some trainers want to be the one that fixes their dog in 2 weeks or whatever the training cycle is. And if you have a truly aggressive dog or dog scared, listen, 2 weeks is not going to fix your dog. It's going to help.
It's going to get a great foundation, but there's still a lot of work afterwards, whether you used a trainer or you're doing it on your own.
Yeah.
If we board and train a dog for 2 weeks and they're dog reactive, we've got a great foundation, but that's why we do group classes afterwards, is to firm that foundation up with the owner, to help the owner really hone in their leadership skills with the dog. So now the dog can understand they really have the ability to take care of those things.
Yeah.
They don't, because they're going to be around other dogs, and then they're going to see through that repetition and desensitization that their owner has never allowed anything bad to happen to them.
And that's more.
And that takes time. That's months. Once a week for a couple months.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we've had dogs that wanted to kill, predatory dogs that want to kill other dogs. It's in their brain just to kill it. One of our dogs, first dogs we trained here, Lainey.
Oh, yeah.
And she comes in, she is the happiest, tail waggingest. And it took us training the dog, and then the owners training the dogs for months and months and months at group class and outside group class. And that dog loves dogs. It doesn't love dogs, but it does not try to kill dogs when it sees it. It
completely tolerant of any dog.
It will roll on its back for us to give it tummy rubs in the middle of a whole bunch of other dogs. Yeah. And that's amazing.
Because that means she trusts.
She trusts us so
she's
much.
Exposing her belly in the middle of a bunch of dogs because she just wants you to love on her and pet her. And man, she was probably one of the, definitely the top 3 most aggressive dogs we've ever trained.
She had predation bad.
Holy hell, she was bad.
Yeah. And that's what I don't think maybe people don't understand is a down position. Just a down position is very submissive for dogs because they are.
Yeah, laying down.
Yes, right. because they are on the ground, so someone will kill them. Because they have a brain that is a predator brain, and it's like, I'm on the ground, something come kill me.
Yep.
So if your dog, like our George, took him a long time, years, for us to have him down and us walk over him because it is because he's a predator dog. He will hunt things and kill things.
Very high prey drive.
So that is. But we never alpha roll. We never that. I didn't even know that thing was a thing 10 years ago. But YouTube.
You just start seeing a lot more on YouTube now. Yeah. And it cracks me up because one of the comments on that video was some trainer said, "I'd like you to try that with all caps, truly reactive dog without all caps corrections." And I looked at it and I thought, that's so weird. That video even used the word correction.
Wasn't even about
that video
correction.
Wasn't even about an aggressive dog.
No.
So my takeaway from reading his comment is this is a compulsion-based trainer that takes exception to anything except dominance and correction-based training.
Alpha training.
Of course, a correction is an important part of learning. Just like, but if the dog doesn't know what they were supposed to do and then chose not to do it, then why would you correct them? You need to first teach them.
You need to teach your dogs.
You don't correct before you teach. Otherwise, that would be like smacking your child's hand for burning the macaroni and cheese, and you've never even shown your child how to get the water into a pot to make macaroni and cheese. I mean, they're just trying to figure it out.
Yeah.
You got to teach before you can correct. And the correct needs to be fair.
It needs to be appropriate for what we're doing.
And appropriate and measured, and it doesn't have to be painful.
It shouldn't be painful.
Correction should mean meaningful, not painful.
Yes.
Crazy.
So dog training is hard because of that. Because I think all dog trainers get frustrated. You just have to walk away or take a step.
Take a breath. Or just stop and just play for a minute with them. Just calm down.
Yes.
Relax. Let your dog relax because they're probably, if you're stressed, your dog's stressed.
Oh, they might be tired. There's a whole bunch of stuff. Yeah.
Let your dog unwind a little bit and then reboot and start again.
Yeah. That's the whole thing. They don't take it personally. They are dogs.
Yeah.
They're not grown people that are Karens.
Yeah. A good example is someone will tell their dog do something. George, why aren't you doing that? George, you know better than that. It's like, why are you using those words? Your dog does not know why aren't you doing that? He doesn't know what that means. Or you know better than that. Your dog does not know what you know better than that means.
Yes.
Your dog only can understand and learn a couple hundred words. So be picky about how many words you use when you're communicating with your dog. We try to stick with one word.
Yeah.
Clarity. The more clear we can be, to our dogs, and the less time we have to sit there and have a discussion with our dog while they're not doing something.
But it's fun. George, you should know everything.
Yeah. And in all fairness, we do the same thing. With our personal dogs, we talk stupid to our dogs.
Like, you know this, Georgie.
George, you know better.
He does know. He's 10.
But
but yeah, the dominance, I don't know where that came from.
Well, it's
just weird.
It's very old school, and it's almost like it is very old school.
Yeah,
so,
very compulsion based.
It's very compulsion based. It kind of subsided for a while, and then, well, maybe it never did, but it seems to have gotten a little more popularity because of a couple
trainers on YouTube.
Dog trainers on YouTube
and
Instagram that show it.
And they show that it doesn't work. If you watch it, you think it's working, but it's not. You just need to look at the dog,
the context.
Yes.
And
because the shutdown dog's very, to me personally, easy to show.
Now,
easy to see.
I did see one trainer talk about how to do it, and he did it with his dog, and his dog looked fine.
Yeah.
That's because he just... It's not a position of dominance of what he was doing with his dog.
Yeah.
It was like the video I did with George. I just kind of had him lay down, and he's like, yeah, whatever you want to do. It wasn't actually a dominant action I was taking with him. He was just like, yeah, you can do whatever you want, because he trusts me.
Because if we get one of our dogs that truly wants to kill dogs or kill humans, and you try, even have a muzzle, you try to put that dog down, it's going to be a fight. I mean, eventually, I guess if you're strong enough,
quite physical.
If you're strong enough to do it, it's going to look horrible, and they're never going to show that on YouTube. And it's not going to do anything.
No trainer would ever video that and put it on YouTube, because then it's going to look as bad as it really is.
Yeah, because
it's all about force.
It is about force, and I would imagine, I've never seen anyone do it. I just can just imagine the dogs who get here. It would be these 120-pound Waddies or cane Corsos. They will kill you.
If they could, if they're truly human aggressive.
Yes.
Yeah.
But one thing, and then this had nothing to do with training, but we have our little Abby Wyatt's dog now. She's a little pit mix mutt, and she's the lovingest dog ever. And we went to the vet, had vet tech, was afraid of pit bulls because she's a pit bull, and did that, held her down, and Abby turned around and bit her. And then after she did it, Abby wanted to lick her face, but because it does not work to hold the dog down.
It scared her.
It's scared to death. That was all. It was all fear, and all she had to have was her teeth to get away from this woman, and she did not.
Yeah, the only option the dog has left is her teeth.
Yeah, because it was horrible. And
because dogs are like humans. When they're scared, they want to fight or they want to flight.
And she had
if you're holding them down, you're not allowing them to flight. Yeah. So they can only fight. And they only have their teeth to defend them, to do that with.
And if you think about it, their brain goes into that fight or flight, so the brain cannot process anything else.
Reasonable at that point.
Yeah, there's nothing.
Just like we're not reasonable when we're in fight or flight.
So you're not teaching the dog anything, except for you're a big bully that's going to make me do this, and so I'll do this. But it didn't stop anything. So when the owner gets the dog, I don't think owners are going to do this. And it's still...
Well, they might if they watch this video, a couple of these videos online, because they'll think, oh, yeah, see how well that worked?
Yeah.
Just think of it as, and I know, of course, dogs and humans are not the same. We process emotions differently. Yes. We problem solve differently.
Yes.
We're advanced thinkers compared to a dog that's more instinctual. All that's a given. But if your dad was upset with you and grabbed you by the back of the neck and shoved you to the ground and forced your head on the ground and then put his foot on top of your head, not squishing it, but holding it to the ground, and said, I'm the boss, right? Well, of course, you're going to say yes because you want up. Do you love your dad when you get up? You probably still do. Do you respect your dad when you get up? No, you're pissed.
Then how many times
you're ashamed, you're embarrassed. I can't imagine all the emotions going through your body right now. Why would your dog feel any different? Because dogs and humans have a lot of emotions. They don't have the scale of our emotions, but they have fear, they have anger, they have anxiety, they have love.
Oh, yeah. But so I think there's a difference. If your dad did that to you every day, you would start to hate your father.
Yes.
But a dog may never hate you.
As soon as your dad came over to do that position, you would start offering that behavior because you know what's about to happen. So you just lay down on the ground because you know one way or the other you're going to the ground. You would quit fighting it and resisting it and just go into that position of submission.
But dogs,
so with your dog,
I don't know if dogs will ever hate us. They're hardwired not to hate us.
Yeah.
We get dogs that were abused by so many humans, and
that's a good point. Would they hate us? But
they wouldn't respect
trust us.
Oh, no.
So we've lost trust. And that is the biggest.
Yeah, you could tell.
That's your biggest currency you have with your dog.
Yes.
When you're training your dog, because eventually a well-trained dog, you want to show them something else. You want to teach them something else.
Yeah.
If you have your dog long enough, you're going to teach them several things.
Yep.
It's trust that when they're confused, they'll keep trying.
Yep, that's the whole thing.
It's trust that when your dog is in a scary environment, they don't decide to react on their own, but instead look at you to pick up the cue of how they should or should not react. If there's no trust, they take matters into their own paws.
Or they just don't try anymore.
Or they don't try.
Yeah.
That's
the sad part.
That's the bad thing to me. The most dangerous and biggest setback of dominance dog training is I'm not cultivating and building constantly on a relationship of trust with the dog that I'm training or our own dog. Mm-hmm. I'm literally undermining it every time I do something like that.
Yeah.
Which makes everything harder and longer. So maybe that dog is awesome with me. It's a human reactive or a dog reactive dog. And the owner is like, oh my God, this dog can be by 18 dogs with me. And then 2 weeks later, the owner says, oh, my dog's still doing everything. Yeah, because the dog fears or the dog understands they're not allowed to do that with me. But that doesn't transfer because there was no skill ever taught.
That's very true.
You got to teach a skill or that knowledge. The dog doesn't have the knowledge, so it's non-transferable.
That's very
That means
true.
Everybody's got to dominate this dog to get him to quit attacking people. Yeah. Or, it's just, I think that's what people miss. It's a non-transferable skill because there actually is no skill taught.
None. That's why some tools are good. They're not all of them are good in one way, but if that's the only way you teach is with whatever tool that is.
Yeah. If you slap a tool on every single dog,
you're not teaching the dog anything.
You're just going faster than.
Yeah.
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 So you didn't take the time to actually teach the skill.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you want to teach dogs that they can still be afraid of dogs or they can still be whatever, but they need to look at you so you know that nothing's going to happen.
Because most dog training that's dog reactive because we train just a ridiculous amount of dog aggressive dogs. And we don't even advertise for them. It's just all client referrals and vet referrals. But anyway, doggone, I lost my train of thought. Holy crap.
It's about teaching them, keeping their threshold where it needs to be. Okay, what were we going to
say? Most of those dogs that are dog reactive, but it could be human reactive too.
Yeah.
They are still not dog friendly.
No.
What they have now is manners.
Yes.
They understand how to be well-behaved and well-mannered in the presence of other dogs. We have not made it a goal and a mission to make it so this dog loves every dog. We're not making, if that happens, great. That was a bonus. That means they actually liked dogs anyway. They just did not know how to interact with them or scared of them.
Or something happens.
But if they truly don't like dogs, they're still not going to like dogs. No. That doesn't mean they can't be well-mannered and well-behaved and go to a patio restaurant and lay down with a dog at the other table because it's not a park. We're not asking them to play. We're just asking them to be well-mannered so we can go have lunch together.
Yeah. And I don't think we've ever went over the podcast, but dogs in dog life, like human lives, you go how you like other dogs is an arc. And as they get older, after about 3 or 4, most dogs, they're okay with their housemates and that's it. Yeah. They don't need to go to a dog park. there's an exception obviously, but that's how people are too. We get to an age, we just have our few friends.
We have close-knit friends, but we don't run and hug every human we meet at the store. Think about it. If you're listening to the podcast, spend all Saturday this coming weekend. Your mission is to go to like 15 stores. And the moment you walk into the store, walk up to every human you see, say nothing to them, just hug them.
Yeah.
One after another, after another, after another. Hug every human you see without engaging, without acknowledging, without saying anything to them. You're going to get punched in the nose. I just don't know how many stores you'll make it through before it occurs. Because it's weird.
Or if you're a female, you're going to get some weird offers.
Yeah. So us forcing our dogs, thinking our dogs should want to play with every dog would be the same.
Yeah.
Why would a dog want to play with every dog they meet? Is there some dogs like that? Absolutely. Oh, yeah. There's some humans that want to hug everybody they meet. Yes. And I think it's weird.
Yeah. That's what a dog park is. Dogs that's how they use their nose and they smell their face, they smell their booties. Some dogs don't like that. And
the older the dogs get,
the less they like it.
Typically, the less tolerant they are.
That is what
they just, and I don't even think that's the right word, less tolerant, the less they need it.
Yeah, maybe that's
it's the less they need it. They're just like, I got my select group of friends and pals. I'm good. I really don't need to meet anyone. Does it mean they're aggressive? No. Nope. This just means they're really got no use for it. They just have no desire. That's what we mean by the arc. It arcs up, and then you have a bell. It's like a bell curve.
Yeah.
And then at the later in life, the arc starts going down on the bottom of that bell curve. That's where older dogs typically are. They just have less tolerance for goofy dogs, less tolerance for overly energetic dogs. They're just like, I don't need.
And they don't really need the play. They're still not. Teenage puppies need to play. That's just in them, just like kids, and they just don't need it anymore. It's interesting.
It is. There's there is a lot of science that goes into dog training.
Yes.
And we never stop learning. We're constantly trying to learn.
Yes.
Anyone that's looking at working with a dog trainer, that's what really you want to look at. Are you still learning, or do you think you know everything? And if they know everything, run for the hills. Because if I go see a specialist surgeon for something, if he tells me I've never picked up a medical journal since I graduated medical school, I'm out the door. I'm running.
Yes.
Because I'm betting there's some new approach or knowledge that would have been handy to him in the last 15, 20 years.
Yeah.
But he's choosing to not learn anything new and advance his craft. A good dog trainer should be doing the same always.
They should be. Especially dog trainers that do it from their home. They don't see as many dogs.
Yeah, they don't have the exposure to as many. And it literally takes a home-based dog trainer longer because of what you just said.
Yeah.
They have less exposure to dogs. It's just
it's just what it is.
It's exposure.
Yeah. So hopefully they
have to work harder to learn than someone that's works in a facility with access to more cases, more personality traits and differences and breeds. It's just.
And the good ones are the ones that understand, I guess, limitations or whatever, are the ones that say, I can train X, Y, and Z. The scary ones take all the dogs and say, I can train everything.
Right. Yeah.
No.
Yeah, I would much rather train with a trainer that said, I do not do human aggressive dogs. Good. You know what your limitation is, and you don't touch them. That's great. Versus someone that, I'll give that a try.
Yeah.
I don't know if I want you to try it on my dog.
You get chomped. Oh, no.
Yeah.
Frankie, what happened? You got needing the goodness. We got little Frankie here.
Okay. So what else on dominance? I just.
But then there's the opposite, the purely positive, which I don't believe is a thing, but people that don't think you should correct a dog or
that's insane too.
Yeah. You're going to be their guardian. You're going to be.
A correction is important in learning. The problem is the word correction is misused so much that it sounds bad.
Well, then you see
what you really should be looking at is a term punishment
is bad,
or a correction.
A correction.
Now, punishment, that is bad.
Yeah.
A correction, your son comes home midnight and he's supposed to be home at 10 o'clock for curfew.
Mm-hmm.
So if I was put my purely positive hat on, I would say, that wasn't acceptable. And next Saturday he goes out again, does it again. And I say, that wasn't acceptable. And I mean, is it going to get resolved? No, because he's a teenager making really terrible decisions.
Yeah.
Now, punishment, when that teenager comes home at midnight, would be hitting him in the side of the head and tell him don't do that again.
And
then ground him.
For a year.
But it all started with just hitting him. What did hitting him have to do with what he did?
Yeah.
A correction would be next weekend you're not going out with your friends.
Yep.
Now it has meaning because it has context in what he just did wrong.
Yeah. And that's how all dogs should do.
That's how all dogs should do.
We like our dogs.
Yeah, should have meaning and context. All right. Well, thank you for joining us in today's podcast. If our discussion connected with you, be sure to follow us on YouTube. Instagram and Facebook. And if you are needing help with your dog and some of their behaviors, we'd love to be part of you and your dog's training journey together. You can give us a call here at Canine Culture or go to our website, k-9culture.com, and reach out to us that way. And we'll follow up with you and discuss what your challenges are and what your goals are, and make a plan to get you where you're trying to get. Until next week, go have fun with your dog.